Good day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. Glad to join you far and near around the globe, where we on the We Empowered Network come together to power up so that we change our neighborhoods, communities, states, impact the entire world. Here we discuss news, purpose, and perspective. And we have a great show ahead. So let's get started. Some amazing events happened over the last few weeks in the science world. While science is often boring to many, I love how this event has changed the thought of our young generation and our older. Isn't it wonderful to know that things happen in the atmosphere above you that can impact you where you are? The news is important to share because it was a momentous event. So let's talk about it. A brilliant starburst feature shined above in the atmosphere as witnessed by the James Webb Space Telescope. The Space Observatory captured a burst of bright star formation triggered by two spiral galaxies crashing into one another. Family, the stars are doing their own thing. The interesting thing about this is that the infrared camera in the telescope captured this glow of light. Are you ready? That included 1 trillion suns, like the one we orbit around. For comparison, the Milky Way galaxy has a luminosity that is the equivalent of about 10 billion suns. So, this collision witnessed by the Hubble telescope certainly caught an amazing atmospheric event. The telescope's near infrared camera also captured how the two galaxies began colliding over 700 million years ago. The gas and dust combined caused a tremendous flare that birthed many new stars. What's interesting about this event is that 200 massive clusters contained many different regions of stars that stretch 5,000 light years across the galaxy, which means, if in comparison, that's about 5% of the Milky Way's diameter. Now, if you're not a fan of NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, it's always great to learn how science can impact where we come from and where we're going. Take a moment to look at the star formations that are being shown across all news outlets. Share them with the children around you because this event may happen in the future, but how amazing is it that you're witnessing it right now? Remember, the event is because there were stars, suns that collided into each other, making this amazing formation of galaxies. Tammy, why is that important? I want to just bring it to your doorstep for 1 minute. That if every news outlet, if the federal government through NASA thought it worth making sure that we could see what it looks like, how the stars keep bursting when they collide into each other to birth new formations. I kind of just want to ask you this question. What happens when people collide with you? Now, certainly it might not be on an astronautic level. It might not be science heavy to you. But in this moment where birthing is happening even in the atmosphere, how do individuals leave when you collide with them? There are many individuals that we have to face or deal with on a regular basis that might have negative attitudes, negative perspectives, not a positive outburst on life, perspective, thought process, language, demeanor. Maybe they're just plain opposite of you. What happens when individuals collide? Here are some tips. I want to help folks today who deal with maybe negative individuals on a regular basis. Because first, I want to challenge that thought process and remind you that just because individuals think and speak opposite of you does not necessarily mean they're negative. So when we change the channel on perspective, the collision doesn't become a negative thing. Maybe it becomes an encounter instead. How do you handle those who you have to work with, deal with, go to worship with, see in the grocery store on a regular basis that might feel like a collision because you want to react first instead of respond? I want for you to consider how you can birth a galaxy in that moment. Come on, somebody. There are a few tips we want to leave you here with the Power Up Show. Number one, consider setting boundaries when you deal with individuals regularly whose perspective might rub you the wrong way, whose approach might be that makes you feel uncomfortable. Acknowledge where you are. Be okay with the difference with the person, but feel free to know your limits. I'll give you an example. There are some professional individuals that I have to deal with on a regular basis that I promise you I'm good with if we're not sitting at the same table in the same room. But communication still has to happen. We're still mission focused, and the mission is always bigger than me and them. I've learned that sometimes written communication is a good way to deal with sending your message respectfully and still having your boundaries. There are some individuals that I say good morning to in the hall every single day, and I will never get a response. But you know what I've learned? I've learned how to no longer look for a response. Come on. Just because I enjoy being me doesn't mean everybody else needs to enjoy having me in their space. Everybody doesn't feel like it's a good morning. Some people are just trying to get it together, so they're the furthest thing from morning people. But when you have to collide with them, the difference is how you handle your behavior so that you model it in the midst of this collision or encounter. I'm grateful that NASA signed a highlight on the fact that the Milky Way and the galaxies are up there dancing and producing amazing outcomes, events in life. It's important, though, that with every encounter you have with someone, you remember it can also turn into an event. Take a look at yourself and how you handle the collision. Are you the type that's ready to pop off? In other words, do you have to keep bail money? Or is that your vacation account and you're so happy living that you're not worried about folks? You are so mentally above negativity that when you have that car accident, when you have that bumper to bumper collision, when you have that, the first thing you say is, "Are you okay?" Or is it about you first? Consider what you can birth in the encounter. Remember, the power up was established to remind you that you have the power to make a difference where you are. I want to remind you of how important it is to give individuals grace, including yourself. There are times when we deal with the issues of life, and it takes a minute for us to get ourselves in a composed posture. It takes a minute for us to decide that this is what I need to say versus this is how I feel. Oh, I can't stand her. Oh my goodness, if she don't stay on that side of the street, is that your response? Or are you just making sure that you're aware the individual is in your space and prepared for how to handle it should conversation need to arise? I want to share another thought. Maturity is everything. You'll notice that in your 20s, you might have been a hothead. However, I promise you that if you live a little longer, you learn that it's not the situation, but how you handle the situation that makes you the better person. What happens when individuals collide with you? I've learned how to maximize diversity. I need everybody at the table that thinks different than me so that we can come up with the best possible outcome. Because if it's just Tammy and what I know, we're only going to go but so far. Every human being has limits. As smart as you might be, even the Jeopardy champion isn't still running strong. At some point, they miss a question. At some point, your mind can only retain but so much. But can I tell you how powerful it is when you have brainstorming sessions and you bring those individuals who are diverse together and include their perspective? Who can I tell you? Any winning coach will tell you as much as Shaq and Kobe were great with the Lakers, they were not the only members of the team. You need all of the individuals to keep the locker room. You need everybody to make the championship happen. You need every individual to give 1,000% of who they are so that the outcome is met. But how you handle it is truly what helps you elevate above the rest. I believe it was our forever First Lady who said, when they go low, we go high. However, that's something you got to practice, family. You can't just stay it, make it a bumper sticker, a t-shirt, and then when something happens, decide that you're going to be down there low with them. So this segment was meant to remind you of how the wonderful atmosphere and environment of life and science is happening around us that we should embrace, remain knowledgeable of, and share with the little people, share with those around us how we can be better knowing what's going on around us. News is important. But then also, how do you apply each of life's lessons? How is the question? We often just think about the fact of how it feels. And I have news for you. Just because it doesn't feel good to you doesn't mean it's not good for you. Because those of us in the faith know that all things work together for the good. Family, make sure that you remember no matter what this day holds, that your perspective is important, that your life is so purposed that it's beyond a collision, because what happens after that? How about making it an encounter? Let's figure out a way how we can make this better, how you can connect with individuals and grow from every circumstance. We hope this segment was great because the excitement of science is something important no matter where you are on the globe. Every single country in their foreign language, all were impacted by the same starburst. How will it impact you when you're the starburst in your community? Family, there's more to the power up coming up. There's a great show ahead as we get ready to go into our next segment. Stay tuned. There's more after this.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Power Up. We're so glad you're joining us today. One of the important segments that we wanted to touch on, this amazing team, is how to keep you safe in these summer months. We've discussed heat safety, we've discussed hydration. Today, during our summer safety segment, say that 6 times fast, we're going to discuss cookout safety, how you can make sure you're protected and caring for your loved ones while you're enjoying, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, that grill. While it might seem really small, it's very important because it can sadly lead to fires and even death. I remember back when I was younger, my dad owned the grill. And my dad didn't wait until the summer months, y'all. He was out in the snow with the grill cooking. That was Jim Hill. However, there were some things that I think about now that I noticed he did. Certainly worth making sure we amplify in this summer safety segment. Remember how important it is to ensure that wherever you're grilling, you're within feet away from a structure. In other words, 6 feet away from a building, away from the actual barrier if you're outside in a gazebo, away from cars and vehicles. You know how many people would put a grill right next to their car? Gasoline, family. Thinking wiser during these summer months. Consider how you store the gasoline, how you store the flammable in items that you use, and how you make sure nothing flammable goes near your grill. So, for those who might not be grillers but you attend cookouts, are the babies aware? Have you mentioned to them stay away from the grill that's hot? And not just the grill itself on fire, burning, cooking, but around the grill can absorb heat. There are oftentimes embers that fall from the bottom of the grill onto the ground. That charcoal is still burning, even though it looks gray. One of the reasons Smokey the Bear said you can prevent forest fires. It doesn't take but a small ember or enough heat even to hit a dry surface to spark a fire. It's important to know that during these summer months, how you care for you is as important as how you care for the environment around you. So let's talk about food for a moment. Do you know that after you grill food, leaving it out for hours and hours and hours and hours is unsafe? You want to make sure that as much as possible you have it covered in containers or just go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. But never leave cooked food out overnight. Salmonella is very real. And the bacteria from salmonella, once in your body, is very, very hard to fight. Hospitals will immediately put you on antibiotics and IV fluids and different things to help get the internal organs to a point where they can fight the bacteria. But I need you to hear it is bacteria. Make sure that you don't touch grilled food with other types of food. Be very careful because there's some foods that might have kerosene absorbed into it from the grill. Come on, I'm just trying to help somebody. And if you're like me that has a husband that is Mr. Grill, I'm talking a hole in his head, making sure he knows all of this too. So make sure that you share these tips with folks around you. We want to have our wonderful grill masters safety safe as well. Are they out there wearing their kiss a cook apron and close to the fire? I know mine is. So we just have to make sure that we remind them how safety should be first. Is there a gallon of water or a fire extinguisher close enough that if something pops off, you can immediately address it? You can douse a fire. You can find a way to make sure the babies are protected. Do they know the safety zone around the grill pit? Okay, let's take it from the grill for a minute. How many of you do s'mores? S'mores. There we go. During the summertime. Okay. Maybe I'm the only one with my 6 grandbabies that has the graham cracker and the chocolate and can't wait to put that melted marshmallow in the middle. Uh huh. There again is fire safety. If you're around the fire pit, that's amazing. It's wonderful, wonderful place to be. The kids are enjoying watching their marshmallow catch fire. But then what? First, with adult supervision, are they aware that they must not immediately touch it with their fingers? Because once your skin burns, it goes through a process of healing and restoration. Again, for parents who have little ones, do you have that first aid kit around with burn cream ready? First aid kit should include many things. One of them being how you can soothe burns immediately. Family, this might not be fun facts, but here is intentional information so that we can equip you to not just be a great mom and dad or uncle or cousin or auntie, whatever you when you're around the kid, the coaches, but how about be the neighborhood voice, reminding the babies of how important it is that they stay safe. Make sure that as you care for the food and the food temperature, that you also care for the little people and how you keep those propane tanks away from where the grill is. Okay? How you keep the charcoal and the lighter fluid stored in a different area, locked so babies don't have a reason to think they want to be like dad and try to light the grill themselves. How many know little people mimic what they see big people do? Making sure that that flame lighter that you use is so high up on the top of the refrigerator or put in a place where little people can't get it either. You know why? Because they're going to want to try to flick that big. Family, your life matters to so many people around you. And while we're having a good time in the summer, we also want to remember that safety is important. Consider your mosquito repellent, your citronella. And let me help folks who have homes, who are you're the consummate host. You're the one everybody comes to your house. Uh-huh. Or you always go to the cookout at someone else's houses. Can I tell you a great gift to give? There are citronella plants that you can purchase at different flower shops, at different places where you can buy those wonderful trees and the decor and your plants, citronella plants, where they get planted in the yard and help fight off mosquitoes. Did you know that? There are also candles for those folks who just love the illumination. And there are citronella armbands now for kids you can put on them to help fight mosquitoes. Come on, family. Do you know that you can put them around their ankles so that they don't get bit as much when they go outside? Just putting that one armband around them and they're gone to play. Little things matter. Mosquitoes are one of the key reasons for the Zika virus. For a lot of the viruses that we deal with, and diseases are prevalent in the heat. That's why it's freezing cold in hospitals. Come on, family. Let's make sure we enjoy this summer safe as possible. Lock and key anything that needs to be away from the babies. Sharing information so that they hear the do's and don'ts. So that as they're around other kids that might be running to the grill, that little person can say, no, 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 wait, we can't go over there. Uh-huh. Posting signs that say, kids, step back. Even reminding your guests when they show up with their little people, with their potato salad or whatever is their job to bring, to remind them, okay, we're keeping the babies away from the grill. Just make sure to let little Tim know. We want him to be happy, but the kids are over there. How responsible are you, consummate host? Family, we hope this information has helped to elevate your knowledge so that you're prepared for the worst, but enjoying the best. Have your first aid kit around with your burn cream, your burn spray, that gauze just in case. The making sure that no one's getting sunburned at the same time, mosquito repellent, those type of things. Maybe you hadn't upgraded and updated your first aid kit for years or since last summer. Go ahead and see what's missing so that you have it ready just in case. Everything isn't an emergency. Some things, when you respond to quickly, can help start the healing process, like a burn, getting something cool on it, ice or water, and then putting the cream, something to cool the skin off. Consider doing your own research. Don't go by what Tammy says. Google household safety, summer safety tips, how you can help get your yard mosquito proof, bug proof, and those other critter crawler proof. Because they come out in the summer, especially when they smell food, just like family members do. Family, we hope this segment was helpful. We're going to continue with our summer safety tips throughout the next few Power Up segments. But we don't want you to go anywhere. There's more information coming as we move into our health front. So stay tuned. There's more after this.
Good morning. Marshall Weeks here with you on Financial Friday. Ecclesiastes 3:1 states, "There's a time for everything and a season for every activity." So how does this relate to our money? Do we recognize the season we're in financially speaking? We may be in the season of building a budget, building an emergency fund, building our savings. We may be in a season of planting, investing monthly to reap a harvest in retirement, building a business, or sowing the seeds for promotion. We could be in a season of uprooting and removal, examining our spending, removing expenses that are not a priority, or removing ourselves from environments that do not support our financial goals. It is important to know where we are right now and to recognize what season we're in so we can be on time for what God is trying to do in our lives. So we need to recognize where we are financially and make sure we are taking the proper actions so we don't miss out on our time to reap the harvest. You've been empowered because you should prosper.
Good day, family. Welcome back to the Power Up. We're so glad that you joined us. Wow, what amazing segments thus far. Real information to help keep us aware, elevated, equipped, empowered, and educated. And we're not going to stop. Let's move into our health front. During this segment, we're going to address a question we received from a viewer. The viewer wrote, "I've been living with disease and I feel hopeless. Are there any tips that people can share that will help fight what I'm living with?" I want to thank the viewer for the question. This viewer did not add what the name of the disease was, which really doesn't matter. See, it's just a name. But what we want to take a moment on this health front to do is respond to the how do I fight my disease? Individuals should know how important your immune system is. Immune systems are complex and they're influenced by many factors. So I want to share how you can help your body fight any disease that they may call cancer, lupus, any dementia, Alzheimer's, anything you might deal with, diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, whatever the name is. We want to share information that will help you be strong in the fight. Remember, your immune system can be supported by those all important vaccines. I know there are many individuals who were sick and tired, I'll be one of them, of those other shots that came after the COVID first shot. Then we were getting boosters. I remember as a child having to get those immunizations to make sure that I was ready for school. But it was not because it was torturing me, it's because of communicable diseases. In other words, when you're around other people, you can get other stuff. A lot of it is airborne, just as COVID was. Many might not remember back in the day, there was the experience of polio. And now there's a regular polio vaccine kids get at a young age. Many vaccinations are meant to help fortify your immune system so it can fight the diseases, the issues you might be dealing with, weight, all of the little things that can impact life, including the environment. But there's one thing that I want to share. First, consider this. I want to thank the viewer because she or he wrote in asking the how question. How do I? The reason that's important is that's someone that's standing ready to fight. That's someone that's not just sitting down taking whatever life gives them, but they're mentally in a place, physically determined to beat whatever they're dealing with. So know that first, my viewer, you're already winning. And you're winning in spite of, because you made a decision to hear the steps, to gain information, and then figure out how to apply it. A lot of the tips that I would share are some that you can get from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. The Center for Disease Control is a very real federal resource that is intentionally meant to share how we can be better when dealing with diseases. You're empowered to go to cdc.gov at any time and gain information on any disease or diagnosis. A lot of what you will hear as the how do I deal with it, you may have heard during COVID. Consider washing your hands often is number one. Consider the fact that you deal with your phone and then hit your nose and inhale. That was a big way of how COVID was spread. That individuals touch doorknobs, they touch their shoes, they touch food in the grocery store, they touch what everyone else touches. And then they touch their eyes, they rub their eyes, or they touch their mouth and opening that can go into which now can grow in your body. It's important because let's say you're Tammy, I'm good. I don't have a disease, I don't have a diagnosis. I want you to be aware of this information because there's someone around you that needs your strength. They need your knowledge. They need you to be powerful in that moment to help them. Sometimes it's not always just for us, it's for how we can help somebody else. Consider also cleaning and disinfecting surfaces regularly. How often do you take a wipe, a Clorox wipe, or even a damp washcloth and wipe off your cell phone? How often do you wipe off your cell phone with anything? Or are you quick to take it, charge it up, then throw it in your purse? Do this, go to bed, take it up, and never pay attention to how that one device that's the center of a lot of your daily action is covered with the things of the world. I'll give you an example. When spring hits, we deal with heavy allergy season because of pollen. Leaves and flowers start bursting, and what they release in the atmosphere often covers your car with green. Sadly, woo, I'm one who deals with allergy season. Well, do you know that that green pollination, the same way it's on your car, the same way it's floating in the air, you're breathing in, is on your clothes, your shoes as you're walking on the ground because it's on the ground. Do you go in the house and take your shoes off first? Leave them at the door so that you're not taking all that through your entire home. Little tips make a difference with how you can treat disease. Consider how you share your personal items. I love sharing. I'm a giver by nature. Oh, many times, not even thinking about it, I'll take off a scarf and somebody compliments it and say, "Here you go, be blessed." Because I just love giving. It's me. However, I have to consider what I receive from others, making sure that I'm careful. In other words, folks give you things, clean them. That includes the clothes you buy from the store. I'll give you an example. My granddaughter was shopping for a bathing suit the other day. And she said, "Grammy, I've got to try them on." Yeah, they call me Grammy. So I said, "Okay, babe, just make sure when you try them on, you keep on your clothes because you don't know how many other individuals may have tried that same bathing suit on and did not keep on anything." Okay, we're going to keep this very PG and let you know what we're talking about. Some folks that deal with things they might not even be aware of. COVID was shared, it was spread by individuals that didn't even know they had the disease, didn't exemplify any of the factors, but were at risk anyway. How many elevators do you share with others? Public transportation. Come on, somebody. Go to the grocery store. So does everybody else. How about we worship with folks on the row in front of us, in the back of us, and beside us? And now that COVID precautions may be lifted, how aware are you that some of those precautions helped while we were in that pandemic? Consider this. Statistics say the flu season was at an all-time low during COVID. You know why? Everyone was masked up. Hard to cough and have somebody else breathe it in when you're coughing and you're the only one breathing it in. At an all-time low, all that was prevalent was COVID in the air. There were minimal other diseases that you could assume through the environment. Now, that's not saying there were none, but when you're masked up, you're protecting yourself from what you're breathing in. Now, if you're still in the place where you are practicing some of those safety tips, just like I am, I'm not getting on an airplane without a mask. That's just Tammy. But if knowledge is power, consider at a minimum washing your hands before you eat, making sure that if you're touching other doorknobs, you're washing your hands. When you go to those public transportation places, when you go to those public restrooms, the movie theater, now that you're back enjoying the jazz festivals, whatever you're out there doing, be knowledgeable about how you can stay healthy. I thank you, viewer, for that question because it's important to stay powerful and vigilant. This is the only body you're going to get. So, how you care for it, getting your vaccines, making sure that you wash your clothes, making sure that you limit what you exchange with others is important. I'll tell you that even those who are given CPR now are typically not given mouth to mouth resuscitation. Oh, but we'll push on your chest to keep your heart beating till emergency response gets there, honey. But we have to be more mindful about not knowing what the other individual may have. And can I tell you, the Good Samaritan law covers you just from making sure you're doing chest compressions. Knowledge, again, makes you powerful. So that's how you help beat diseases. Stay vigilant and aware. Continue to be your own advocate as you go to your doctor. Continue to make sure to track any differences and share what you're feeling. You are the best one to tell anyone what you're feeling. You are the best one to say, I felt this about a few weeks ago, but I haven't felt it since then. That small piece of information could be important to your medical professional. Are you staying hydrated with clean water? When they first came out with bottled water, how many people laughed at that because there were public fountains everywhere? Now, how many of us are drinking from public fountains? If you're one who's active, I got a tip for you. Brita has an amazing water bottle with a filter already inside. I take it when I fly because I oftentimes will just fill my water bottle up from the fountain. But what I'm drinking is filtered, clean, separated from the contaminations that others might just be or water can get from over time. Protection is what's important. Family, this is also National Minority Mental Health Month. I want to take a minute just to spotlight that and appreciate that the CDC did as well. They elevated this month because mental health matters. And to minority groups, sadly, our mental health services are disproportionate in availability. Do you know that 1 out of every 5 adults in the United States lives with a mental health disorder? The National Institute on Mental Health has resources available just for you. And mental health treatment can start just with a conversation, but it means you have to step into what our viewer asked, the how. How can I get better? How can I fight this? How can I win at life in spite of? Therapy is always an easy solution, or at least a start. And can I tell you, it doesn't matter who you are, where you live, your income, your background. It matters how you enjoy your quality of life. Every therapist should have a therapist. Every preacher, every minister has a consultant, a minister. Every coach, a coach. Every trainer, a trainer. You learn from someone. Every advisor has an advisor. Consider how there's knowledge and information around you that can help you no matter what you face. I'm a lupus advocate. Ever since I received the diagnosis, I do all the walks. I talk about it regularly. I post on social media. I elevate awareness because somebody's got to find a cure for this thing. In the meantime, I'm going to win at life because it's the life I've been given, and I'm not the face of a disease. I'm the face of victory. Family, consider that during this National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, that you take time to do what you need to do to be the best you possible. Consider tapping into the Center for Disease Control, cdc.gov, and the National Institute for Mental Health, MIMH.gov, for sources, resources, connections, information, even peer support groups. You're not out here alone. There are others who are dealing with exactly the same thing that you are. Empathy is important. Sympathy is as well. So if you notice someone who's not quite themselves, don't just walk away. You're there to make the difference. Family, we hope this information on the health front was helpful, but as we go into our wrap up, don't leave us. There's more. Stay tuned.
Life has its way of being sweet, and life has its way of being spicy.
You did not have to hit me there.
Girl, I did not hit you.
Anywho, life has its way of being hard, and life has its way of being easy. Join us every second Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time,
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
at the We Empower Network Tune in to the Sweet
and Spicy
Podcast. Hope to see you there.
Bye.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. Family, what a day. What a segment. Information overload. All to help make us better people so that we can be better to those around us. As we move into the wrap up, we want to remind you of how amazing science can be and how intentional we should be about celebrating moments and events in this world. While we exist here, let's share some of the amazing things with the little people around us that they can make a memory. So as they become grandparents, they can share that memory. Can you imagine your baby boy or baby nephew when he's a grandfather saying, when another galaxy burst happens, I was sitting with granddad when he told me about that one. I remember we looked at pictures and I learned about galaxies. Can you imagine how powerful the moment you make right now will be a memory for them? Consider learning and educating because events don't happen all the time. And many of them aren't positive when they do. Sadly, we deal with the repercussions of a lot of what nature dishes out to us. So, looking at the amazing stars bursting into each other, how 5 trillion suns now, like the one we circle, makes the difference. Education and knowledge can help make moments amazing. Make sure that you seize this opportunity to impact those around you. And remember, it's not always a collision. Sometimes it can be a connection. Just because the event is unwelcome doesn't mean it can't be amazing. Sometimes we find ourselves in circumstances in life where, man, I would have done that differently, or I wish I could have. I should have. We spend a lot of time living in regret when really we can't change the past. I can't change what happened 15 minutes ago. What I can do is maximize this moment to make sure that when it becomes yesterday, it's something I'm proud of. And when it comes back around on social media in a year or 2 years or 3 years, as social media does, it's a memory that I can share again and be grateful for. One of the things that's important about the information we shared during our summer safety segment is that it's all meant to make sure that while you're having fun, come on, enjoy this heat because soon it's going to be cold. So enjoy it while you can. Is that you want to leave better than you went. See, take the pictures, connect with friends, get an opportunity to travel. Come on, vacation season. Just remember safety first. Update your first aid kit. Make sure that when guests come to your home, you educate them on the do's and don'ts so that they can be the one to tell the little person, so that they can reinforce your rules of the house for safety purposes, right? We want the babies to enjoy coming to auntie's crib, but we also want them to go home and can't wait to come back again. We also took time to make sure to share during our health front a response to a wonderful question from a viewer. How do I fight the disease I'm dealing with? And applaud the fact that that question started with how, because that's someone that's open to receiving and ready to fight. Remember that there's nothing you can't beat. Sometimes the fights cause us to bend, but you won't break. Just prepare. Just know we can't stop the storm from coming. But y'all, we still need the rain. We need the water. Most of our body is 60% fluid. We've got to stay hydrated. So the rain has to come. The storm has to come. So it becomes the difference of I hate the rain, feeling the blues and looking out the window and wishing it would pass, and switching your perspective and dancing in the rain. Come on here, rain. Sometimes having that just hit you. Sometimes just seeing the rainbow afterwards. Sometimes the fresh smell following a rain. You never know. But have you ever looked at babies when they put on their rain boots and their hat and their coat and they go out and start jumping in puddles? They don't care about the rain. They are having fun and enjoying the moment. You should be empowered that no matter what your age, that child inside you can still enjoy this moment, no matter how it looks, even how it feels. And then we shared a reminder that July is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Important to elevate awareness because sadly, mental health services are just not equal in different communities, especially those in minority communities. Many minorities have to travel for services to get quality of care. So consider how you can impact change where you are, how you can tap into research sources that are available to you. And most importantly, how you can use your social media account to share information. Do you know I have 5,000 followers? I don't know all those people, but I make sure that I share information. And I've received messages from people in other countries I was never really connected to, all because they liked some information I shared. They copied it and then shared it on their page with their 5,000 people I don't know. How can you make a difference where you are? We oftentimes think that the limits we live in, the box we put ourselves in, becomes the limit of our existence. I can't do it. And self talk is honestly the most important conversation you'll ever have. What you say to you. Do you speak affirmatively? Do you tell yourself, in spite of what they call it, I am a winner? In spite of him walking away out of my life, I am enough. In spite of what happens on the job, I will get this promotion. Or I will leave this place and get a promotion somewhere else because I'm worth it. Do you tell yourself that no matter how the weapon is formed against you, it can't prosper? Those of us in the faith know what I'm talking about. Family, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. So come on, be your own number one fan. Come on, start your whole club and decide, I love reading. I'm going to start a book club. I love coaching. I'm going to start a baseball team. I love little people. I think I'm going to start a daycare. Let me go to school and find out about licensing. I love numbers and I love being an accountant, but I hate doing it here. I want to work in the medical industry. How about go be an accountant and help a hospital balance their books? Family, the only limits in life are what we accept. There's no limit on age. Age can't stop you. Weight can't stop you. For my folks that believe you're too fat or too skinny, it doesn't matter the number of hairs on your head. There are some amazing cancer warriors, overcomers, who rang that bell and still remained bald headed afterwards because it became a badge of honor, a look they embraced. They felt like, what is hair? There's so much more to me. Family, be the one to be so power driven, so power focused, so powerful, FULL, that nothing and no one can stop you in your greatness. I want to end with this thought. We here on the Power Up understand life can be very difficult at times. I would dare say it downright sucks sometimes. Being in bereavement and a loss hurts. Having someone not believe in you hurts. Having low income or starting over, not easy, oftentimes hurts. Here's what we would for you to consider. It hurts. And what? Are you going to stay there bleeding? Are you going to crawl while you're crying? Are you going to get up and start over while you're frustrated? Are you going to keep moving forward and see what's in front of you and believe in yourself, even if it means by yourself? We can uplift you and share all we want. There's tons of motivational videos on YouTube, of books. I read them regularly because what I put into me is what I have to pour out to others. But I had to make a mental decision one day when depression was on my door that I wasn't going to let it win. The struggle is real at times, but the victory is bigger. The knowing that I'm powerful in it. And when I'm weak, he is strong. I'm also surrounded by resources and information. When I just can't figure it out, there are coaches and mentors and advisors and counselors that can sit with me to help me figure it out. There are answers right at your fingertip. But it's for you to decide today is the day. I'm not going to do it anymore. No more complaining, no more existing, no more excuses, no more. Right now will be a yesterday soon. Get up, whatever your up looks like, whoever you need to help you up. Sometimes we've got to rely and rest on others, and that's okay as well. Figure out what you want to accomplish, and then let's make a plan, and let's put some progress steps and some goals, and then let's start living. Family, we're glad you joined us today. We hope you feel powered up. I like today's segment, a lot of information. I learned some things myself. Feel free to always write us, share, and make sure to encourage someone else in your path. Stay equipped with information, educated so that you can share it with others, empowered that as long as I'm standing upright, shoulders back, looking forward, there's something in front of me I can reach and elevate it. Because you deserve to fly, you deserve to experience everything else you see everybody else winning with. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.